Thanks for joining with me again today for day 5 of our series looking at the unexpected, the unlikely people God used in the Christmas story. We've been taking encouragement these days, realizing that God uses weak and feeble people, people just like you and people just like me, people who were unexpected choices. We've seen Jesus' family tree, we've seen John the Baptist's parents. Yesterday we seen the shepherd, and today we're moving on to the wise men, the magi, the visitors from the east, the three kings. They go by very many names. And in fact, a lot of what we know about them, or think we know about them, comes from tradition. But what we're going to learn today is some important lessons that we can apply from them. But firstly, these visitors from the east, let's picture the scene. These are rich men arriving most likely on camels, laden. They arrive in this small village. Now picture two worlds apart, colliding in an instant. You see, Bethlehem was just a small little village, a farming village. It would have been, everybody would have known each other. According to archaeologists, there was one well in that village. So people would have rubbed shoulders with each other. It would have been a small, quaint little town. Now, worlds apart, can you imagine the arrival of people from a different nation from long, long away? Everybody would have noticed when they arrived. But who were these men? Well, there's been a lot of discussion over the years of whether they were kings, whether they were wise men, whether they worked for the king. Most likely, they were scholars. So if you remember in the book of Daniel, Daniel and his friends, they were chosen because they were considered the most educated, the wise young men of Israel. And part of their job was to work for the king, giving him advice, ruling over his kingdom. And we see that the other people in that position tried to throw Daniel into the lion's den, and Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego into the furnace because of jealousy. Whereas these people who were most likely the wise men, and many believe that they actually came from Babylon. So these men were studying there. They would have known some of the scriptures, some of the prophecies that Daniel himself had prophesied. They would have known much of what was written in the other cultures as that was their study. And upon looking at the sky, they took notice of something different. They noticed there was a star there. They were reminded of Daniel's prophecy. They went, okay, the king must be born there. Let's go find him, the king of the Jews. Let's go there to worship him. Now, I find something quite amazing here, that many other people didn't notice the star in the sky, but they did. They were looking for it, and not only did they notice it, they responded to it. When God showed them something, they took action and responded to what they saw. Now, I wonder how many times me and you have seen something. The Holy Spirit has maybe enlightened us to a situation, to a person in need, but yet we've seen it, but we didn't respond to it. We didn't do anything about it. But this wasn't the case for these magi, the three wise men. They seen the sign, they responded, they went looking. And see, when they arrived there, we don't know how long it took. First of all, they went to Jerusalem, where they would expect the king to be born in King Herod's kingdom. And they went to the palace, spoke to Herod, and Herod said, okay, when exactly did that star appear? Then he kind of said, okay, let me know when you find them, I'll go worship. But then he sent order to kill all the young boys born within the last 2 years. Now from this we can guess that the star appeared even if you just wanted to make sure, at least 18 months previously. It'd been there for a while. And this shows us something else really important. You know, in the Eastern Orthodox Church, they think it was 12 days it took them to arrive there from Babylon. Others again, up to 2 years. We don't know how long it took them, but we know it was a long journey. It wasn't just a walk around the corner, but they made that journey. Now maybe you're somebody listening to this today who've been searching for Jesus for years. Maybe you've been going to church, you've been reading the Bible, but you're struggling to believe its truth. Well, take comfort in the wise men. They had to take a long journey to find Jesus, but eventually they found him. Or maybe you're somebody who is a believer and you've been witnessing so long to your husband, to your wife, to your son, to your daughter, to your father, to your mother, to your neighbour, to your work colleagues, and you're thinking they're never going to accept Christ, they're never going to respond to this message. Well, again, take hope. Sometimes it takes a while for people to find Jesus. But when the wise men found Jesus, they fell at his feet and they worshipped him. Now they were unexpected choices because they were at best pagans from a distant land. They were rich pagans from a distant land. And again, in the church today, throughout the world, one of the hardest people groups to reach are the rich, people who are self-sufficient, people who think they don't need anything which they can't provide for themselves. And yet it was these rich people from a different country who came to worship Jesus. And you see, they were unexpected. You wouldn't have expected people from a different culture, from a different religion, to come fall at Jesus' feet. But they were the ones that God chose. And not only were they unexpected, they brought unexpected gifts. So we have gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now gold maybe is a great gift, and you can imagine a king or queen today on the arrival of their son or daughter, other countries or other people gifting them with silver or with gold, whether it be in ornaments or actual in financial terms. But then we have frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense was something for the priests, showing that Jesus would also have a priest role. But in the last one, myrrh, it was what was used for bodies, for embalmment, to take away the bad smell of a decomposing body. Can you imagine giving that as a gift to a newborn baby? Turning up saying, congratulations on your son's birth, here's a coffin, here's a death robe. What an unusual gift. But again, God uses the unusual things and unusual people. But we see right from the start of Jesus' birth, we see God's plan of salvation, God's plan for Jesus' life here on earth. That he would be born, he would have gold as he would be the king. But he would also be the high priest, and even today he's the high priest there in heaven, interceding on our behalf as a frankincense. And then we remember the myrrh, that he came to be a sacrifice for the many, to be a sacrifice for us, that we may be called sons of God. So take comfort again today, that God chose the unlikely and used them in his plans. And God can also use you and use me. Well, I hope you can join me again tomorrow. We are almost at Christmas now, but we're going to carry on this series, looking at the unexpected people God used in the Christmas story. And God bless you, and I'll see you again tomorrow.